Race Week.
And welcome into this week's edition of Race Week, powered by the Sporting News. I'm your host, Zack Klein. And for the next 30 minutes, I'll be at the wheel guiding you through the twists and turns of the week in racing. Week 1 of the season is in the books, and it was one for the ages at Daytona. Phoenix International Raceway is up next on the circuit, and it promises to hold as much or more intrigue as last week with the restrictor plates. This week, the restrictor plates come off, and the Generation 6 car gets to show all of its horsepower and handling on the 1-mile low-banked oval in the Arizona desert. Which cars have the best chance to take home the checker flag? We find out now in this week's preview. Located just outside of Phoenix in Avondale, Arizona, Phoenix International Raceway is a 1-mile low-banked oval where space is tight in the corners and tempers run as hot as the radiators. The latest incident occurred last November as Jeff Gordon had seen a little too much of Clint Bowyer getting into him and decided to take matters into his own hands, causing a melee for the ages. Fans were left with the indelible image of Clint Bowyer running from the track all the way to Gordon's trailer, where Bowyer was denied entry by a wall of security guards. The crew got into the action also as they tangled behind the wall, and the scene developed into chaos.
Somewhere in the middle of that is Jeff Gordon.
The track was reconfigured and repaved in 2011 after hosting the second race of the season, and has earned great reviews from the teams for its drivability and grip. Kyle Busch holds the record for qualifying speed since the repave, getting around the 1-mile track in just under 26 seconds, clocking in at 138 miles an hour. Kevin Harvick won the Fall Chase race last year, his only win of the season, but his third overall at the track. With his fast start at Daytona this year, he is certainly one to look for at the checkered flag this weekend. Last week's Daytona 500 winner and 5-time Sprint Cup champ Jimmie Johnson has 4 wins at Phoenix, making him the odds-on favorite to get to victory lane this Sunday. Joe Gibbs Racing scored perhaps the biggest free agent acquisition in years last season as it signed Matt Kenseth away from Roush Fenway Racing. Kenseth is a past Sprint Cup champion and a 2-time Daytona 500 winner, but has done all of that work in a Ford over the years. How well the switch goes to Toyota and how well he fits in with new teammate Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are factors that will determine the team's success this year. We take a look inside Joe Gibbs Racing and see how they will fare this year on the track in this week's edition of Toyota Life. Joe Gibbs has seen a lot in his time around the sports world. He has coached winning teams in Super Bowls and had players win MVP awards. His drivers have won Sprint Cup championships. That is what makes his declaration before this racing season so unique.
For our Cup program, I got to tell you the truth, this will probably be the most excited I've been going into a season.
Why is he so excited about this season? Well, for one, over the offseason, his team acquired the highest profile free agent on the open market, 2003 Sprint Cup Series champ Matt Kenseth. Gibbs pulled Kenseth away from Roush Fenway Racing, where Kenseth had driven for his entire career in the middle of last year's racing season. Gibbs needed a veteran who has a championship to mentor a stable of great young drivers who are on the cusp of winning their own championship and might need a little help breaking through the championship barrier. He thinks he has that in Kenseth.
It's great having Matt on board. I think he's somebody that we all respect, and I know Denny, Kyle, and Brian do also. And so it's a thrill for us to have him on board.
And Kenseth thinks it was the best move for himself and his family.
At the end of the day, I think you look what's best, you know, for yourself, you know, and certainly it was this, you know, you want to put yourself where you feel like you can have the most success, and I felt like that this was the place for me. So I feel real good about everything that I saw here, everything that they have going on here, just the whole entire thing, not bits and pieces of it.
And though he thinks it is important to get along with the other drivers and help them, he knows the most important thing he can do is integrate himself with his new team.
Well, the most important thing is winning. I mean, there's nothing more fun than winning, but certainly it's always fun to be around a group that has a good sense of humor, that has good personalities, that you can have some fun with, you know, as well. So they're really serious about their jobs. They work really hard here to try to win races and championships, but yeah, they can have fun at the same time, which is great.
And as for being the elder statesman around the young talent at Gibbs,
I don't feel like that. I actually feel like the new kid, you know, coming in here. This is certainly Denny and Kyle are the guys. Certainly I'm third in line, and I'm coming here with my eyes and ears open, trying to learn as much as I can, try to see how they do things, and at the same time, hopefully I can contribute, to help them guys and to help the organization as soon as possible.
There was also big news concerning Kyle Busch and his decision to re-sign with Joe Gibbs Racing in the offseason, averting any free agency and locking down the future for both the driver and the company. Kyle felt like the negotiations went well and is happy to stay at Gibbs.
I think anytime that you're in contract negotiation time, that it's always best to get it done and get it out of the way, as long as it's not distracting. We got through the season and knocked the deal out, and it wasn't that big a deal.
But the money and the contract is not why he does what he does.
I'm not here to make a check. I'm here to work hard. I'm here to win, and bringing home trophies and championships is what my ultimate dream is. And, I don't know whether it's the Lord upstairs just making me wait or what, but, even if I did win one championship, I'm not done. I'm not leaving. I still want to win more. You still have that hunger and drive to get as many as you can.
Denny Hamlin also had big news in the offseason, but it doesn't concern his contract. No, it was even bigger. It was the birth of his daughter, Taylor James Hamilton. As far as the baby goes, so far so good.
She's been sleeping a lot, which is good. I like that part of it so far. So we're excited to have her, and obviously this season our outlook's very, very high. So just got to turn winning races consistently into championships consistently, and I think we know the formula to do that.
The future looks bright for the Joe Gibbs Racing team, and if things mesh between the drivers the way that they think it will, they could all be competing against each other for the Sprint Cup Championship. Good stuff. All right, time for our first break of the day, but stay tuned, as when we come back, the Rowdy.com boys bring us their big three thoughts of the week. That more.
So this board gives me rates for Progressive Direct and other car insurance companies?
Yes.
But you're Progressive and they're them?
Yes.
But they're here?
Yes.
Are you...
There?
Yes.
No.
Are you them?
I'm me.
But those rates are for...
Them.
So them are here.
Yes. You want to run through it again?
No, I'm good.
You got it?
Yes.
Rates for us and them. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Race Week.
And welcome back to Race Week, powered by the Sporting News. If you follow the show, you know that each week the Rowdy boys at the Sporting News join us for some friendly banter that focuses on some of the sport's most interesting and compelling storylines. It's a segment we like to call the Big Three.
Welcome back. It is Rowdy time on Race Week again. I'm Stephen Levine from NASCAR Illustrated. Tom Vandervoort from Sporting News.
No. We're both from Rowdy.
Oh, yeah. We finally have some racing to talk about.
Thank God.
The Danica 500 is over.
Look, she handled herself well. Let's just say that.
Can I just say, no, let me say something too. Can I say something? You say what you're going to say, then I'll say what I'm going to say.
I would say she handled herself well. I think that style of racing was good for her. If it had been real slicey dicey in the pack, it would have been a big challenge. I'm not taking anything away from her. She handled herself very well.
Look, I was updating the NASCAR Illustrated Facebook page during the race, and I just don't understand why so many people were belittling and bad-mouthing her. Look, she ran in the top 10, if not the top 5, for most of the race.
Right.
Did she have a little bit of trouble in the pits? Yes. Was she tentative at the end?
Yes.
Yes. But she has now led laps in both the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500. She has now posted top 10s in both the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500. I think that's impressive, and I think her performance was impressive. Do I expect it to continue at Phoenix or Martinsville?
Heck no.
No, but give credit where credit is due.
Here's who I'd like to give credit to.
Jimmy Johnson?
Jimmy Johnson. Anyone who sat on this couch and said Jimmy Johnson wasn't still the man.
Why are you taking it out on the couch?
It's actually a bench seat. A bench seat. Anyway, I think Jimmy Johnson's still the man, and he proved it. He proved it. Who was the one dude who was willing to hop down to the inside and make the inside line work? 48 car.
And when he was in the inside line, nobody dropped down in front of him in hopes that he would push them.
No.
Because nobody felt like the inside lane was going to work.
Yeah, they were all just chickens on the outside.
Hallmark Jimmy Johnson, clean race car at the end, right? You didn't hear about Jimmy Johnson during the bulk of the race, and then all of a sudden at the end, there he was.
Yeah, he's good. Newsflash. And you know, we go to Phoenix here. I think you got to say this is one of those tracks that is a Jimmy Johnson track. It says Jimmy Johnson. It says Denny Hamlin.
Phoenix, nothing else
it says Kevin Harvick. Well, what else do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the wreck? The nationwide wreck?
Well, I guess
I don't know what to say. It's a scary thing.
It is a scary thing. You know, I don't think you can fault NASCAR or the Speedway.
I don't think you can either, and we would if you could.
It was pretty fluky, but I also think NASCAR is pretty good about looking at things like this and making appropriate changes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, our hearts...
You maybe saw a weakness in the sort of security system around the fence where the crossover gate is. Maybe there's a weakness in there they can address. Maybe the tensile strength of some of the fencing is something they can address, and I think if it can be addressed, they will address it.
I think they will too. Fortunately, there were no fatalities.
Right.
As of this recording, there are still some people in the hospital, but they are all in stable condition, so that's good news. Now,
Phoenix.
Here's
what I say
you were
about
to kiss Jimmy Johnson's butt.
Well, look, I do it every week.
Yeah.
And you know why? He's good. He's excellent.
If we really wanted to improve ratings, we'd be kissing Junior's butt.
Well, look, here's the thing I want to say about Junior. It's funny you bring that up. This track used to be a lot like Richmond, a lot like New Hampshire.
They changed her up.
They changed her up. It's faster, it's grippier. They repaved it. Still not a ton of banking at this place. Obviously, you've got the new car going there. Well, I feel like if this car, right, is better suited to Junior, then I think he will show back up at Phoenix as a guy who can win this race. He's only carded like one top 10 in the last umpteen races.
By the way, my prediction, Junior will lose most popular driver this year to Danica Patrick. That's my prediction.
You could be right.
Not for nothing. Okay, so
anyway, you've really thrown me off my game.
Okay, who's your pick? You're obviously you're going to pick Jimmy.
No, I'm not.
So just go ahead.
I'm not going to pick Jimmy.
You're going to pick him. Go ahead.
I think it's Denny's week.
I think it's Denny or Kevin. If you look at the past 4 Phoenix races, Denny and Kevin Harvick have been the top 2 over the past 4. Yes, Jimmy Johnson can win at Phoenix any day of the week.
And I think this new car is a wild card and adapting to it and what is still a relatively new racetrack.
Adapting to it. But, you know, Kevin Harvick, very strong at speed weeks. Obviously, you can't translate Daytona to Phoenix, but you can say that team is in a good place of its game.
Yeah, and given the lame duck status of Kevin Harvick, I think that was a pretty strong statement by those guys.
Right.
Despite the bad finish in the 500.
And the bad finish in the 500 was not his fault.
No.
So you go with Denny, I'll go with Kevin Harvick. We'll leave Jimmy Johnson on the table for you.
We'll leave Jimmy on the table, and Jimmy will probably win this thing.
Jimmy probably will win this thing, although
we still love you, Jimmy.
But we're not picking you.
No.
I'm picking Kevin Harvick.
I'm picking Denny Hamlin.
There you go. We'll see you next week right here on Raceweek.
All right, great stuff as always, gents, and whether you agree with them or not, one thing you cannot dispute, it is never dull. All right, we invite you to check out their other work online at sportingnews.com/NASCAR. All right, time for another break, but when the action returns, we're going to sit down and talk to the winner of this year's Daytona 500. That, of course, is Jimmy Johnson. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 1-800-669-8275. That's 1-800-669-8275.
Sun bleach bumpers? Faded interior? Foggy headlights?
Hi, I'm Danny, a.k.a. The Count, from the hit show Counting Cars. Here to tell you about an amazing new vehicle surface restorer called Detail Doctor. With just one application, you can restore your ride's deep, rich color. Not for days, but for up to 1 full year. Renew rubber and plastic with just one wipe. Restore your headlights instantly. Revitalize leather and vinyl to showroom condition without any oily residue. Detail Doctor helps you restore moldings, mirror covers, bed liners, interior dashboards, and door panels. Faded body? Just a touch of Detail Doctor and a light buff restores the shine every time.
Order Detail Doctor today and we'll double the size, and we'll also include the Clean Hands applicator and 2 microfiber detailing cloths and the detail brush. A $60 value for only $14.99. Order online now at getdetailedoctor.com.
Race Week.
And welcome back to Race Week, folks. Winning the Daytona 500 is a huge accomplishment for any driver. Plenty have won the restrictor plate race events and gone on to do very little for the rest of their careers. Of course, Jimmie Johnson does not fall into that category. He is already a 5-time Sprint Cup champion. Can winning the big race be a catalyst for another title? We find out in this week's edition of our Speedway Conversation.
It is just awesome. There's no other way to describe it. 400 starts. Every one of those starts with Lowe's and Hendrick Motorsports.
How about that?
Got a little material left over. To be the first to win the Gen 6 in a Gen 6 car, and that car is a Chevrolet, a Chevy SS. Just a very, very proud moment. Plate racing, as we all know in here, has been a little tough on the 48 for the last few years. So I'm happy to get through it all, and you know, just a strong race car. I feel like the speed our car had in it allowed me to really have control of the race there late, and I felt like I was sitting on something all day, and was just ready to have some fun when it counted, and it did. You know, I've struck out a lot at these tracks and left with torn up race cars, and today we had a clean day. I didn't doubt our ability to win. I was just frustrated with circumstances and frustrated with plate racing. And you know, this will buy me a smile for, I'm sure, the rest of the year on the plate tracks.
You know, racing fans have always prided themselves on weaving the sport into the fabric of their daily lives. Fans are famously loyal to the drivers that help them identify with the sport they love. For the Chevrolet fans, the end of the Daytona 500 provided a lot of bragging rights for the new Gen 6 car. We find out how in this week's Chevy Life. Hendrick Motorsports has been carrying the flag for Chevrolet since 1984 and has represented the brand well over the years that they have been on the track. Last year, they celebrated their 200th win in NASCAR with Chevrolet equipment. In an impromptu celebration, Johnson gave owner Rick Hendrick a ride around the track so he could take a bow for the fans. Johnson's win at Daytona last week was the first win for the Gen 6 Chevrolet SS and marked the 12th consecutive year that he has put a Chevrolet in victory lane in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in another Hendrick Chevrolet SS finished in second place. Congratulations to Hendrick and Jimmy Johnson for their great start in 2013 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And with the start of the racing season in the books so far this year, the chatter around the garage and the track increases tremendously. We take a look at the events that might have escaped the headlines in and out of the garage in this week's news and notes. The fallout from the horrible crash that ended the nationwide race in Daytona on Saturday gets a little better as word comes out that the total number of fans injured from the debris from the incident was 28. Replays of Kyle Larson's car getting airborne and being destroyed by the catch fence shows the debris field that included a tire assembly and could have done a lot more damage if not for the strength of the fence. 2 fans were admitted with head injuries and in critical condition on Saturday, but recently were taken off the critical list. Repairs to the fence were made in time for the Daytona 500 to start as scheduled, but the minds and hearts of the drivers, teams, and NASCAR officials remain with the injured fans. And time now for our final break of the day, but keep it right here. When we return, we will hit that rewind button or look back at last weekend's Daytona 500.
The Thompson Group at Classic Chevy has more than 2,000 Chevys in stock, including 100 cargo vans ready for work. We have many selections and financing options available for you, all in a relaxed family environment. The Thompson Group at Classic Chevrolet. Relax and enjoy the difference.
Coming to Mesquite, Texas, March 22nd and 23rd, the Devil's Bowl Speedway presents the 40th Annual Spring Nationals Matt Clevenger Memorial, featuring the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series, hosting the best sprint car drivers in the country. Watch these 800 horsepower machines fly at over 140 miles per hour around the famous half mile. For tickets, call 972-222-2421 and book your ticket to the track for fastest fun and the passion is in the action, the Devil's Bowl Speedway.
You always count on Church's to help you serve your family their favorite chicken. So, this time of year, why not count on us to help you serve your family's favorite seafood, like our crispy, flaky fish fillets or our crunchy, battered popcorn shrimp. Come in and pick up your choice, served with our tasty fries for just $3.59 each. And don't forget to try our new baked macaroni and cheese, topped with cheddar, browned in the oven. So bring your family to the table with a meal you can feel good about. Only at Church's. You bring it home.
Need maintenance on your car? Then go to the service section at www.ClassicChevyTexas.com and print your way to big savings on your oil and filter change, tire rotation, and much, much more. Classic Chevrolet. Relax and enjoy the difference.
Race Week.
And welcome back, folks, to Race Week, powered by the Sporting News. Last weekend, the racing season kicked off, as it always does, at Daytona with a new car, and the results were impressive, with a Nielsen rating of 10-0. That was the most watched season opener since 2006, and that's up 30% from last season. We look back at how it all unfolded in this week's Rewind. James Franco delivered the most famous words in motorsports and inadvertently insults Danica Patrick.
Drivers and Danica!
Come on, man, what's up with that? No worries, though, as Danica brought the field to green from the pole position. The first time ever for a woman at Daytona. Her lead was short-lived, though, as Jeff Gordon caught the side draft on turn 1 and made his way to the front of the field, leading the first lap of the race. That would delay history for Danica to be the first woman to lead a lap at Daytona for a little while. The race ran clean for the first 32 laps until Kyle Busch gives Casey Kane a little tap that sends Kane sideways and sliding across the track into Juan Pablo Montoya. That started a chain of events where Kevin Harvick eventually collected Tony Stewart, both favorites to win this race. Kyle Busch miraculously saved his car in that incident, but the mojo would turn on him on lap 72 during a pit stop. His car falls off the jack, costing him precious track position. Danica working her way up the front of the track on lap 90 and creates history. She becomes the first woman to lead a non-caution lap in NASCAR. Congratulations to Miss Patrick. Gibbs Racing suffers 2 big losses, though, on lap 150 as Matt Kenseth blows a transmission after running up front of most of the day. And Kyle Busch, too, blows an engine on the same lap, ending his day early. Lap 194 now, and that sees a restart after Jimmy Johnson and Brad Keselowski both hit a piece of metal on the track. Johnson is pushed out to the front with help from Greg Biffle. Jimmy would have to hold off a late charge from teammate Dale Jr. to take the checkered flag for his second career Daytona 500 championship. In case you missed it last week, one of the great side stories was veteran driver Phil Parsons adding a 10th anniversary logo to the Victory Junction game camp on his Ford Fusion. We find out more in this week's Ford Life. The camp, as you may already know, was set up by Kyle and Patty Petty in their hometown of Randleman, North Carolina, to give terminally ill children a place to visit with all expenses paid. The tragic death of their son Adam 13 years ago served as the inspiration to build a place for families to enjoy life and help kids forget about their troubles, if only for a little while. The gesture was much appreciated by the Pettys and everyone involved with the Victory Junction game camp. And with that, the checker flag on today's program. I would like to thank you for joining us here as we bring you coverage from your perspective, the fans. For the entire Over the Wall crew, I'm Zack Klein. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody.